Hey guys, Joe here of the Joe Madden Sports Podcast. I'm joined this morning by Mike Palm, Vice President of Operations for the D, Golden Gate, and Circa. Mike, how's the morning treating you there in Vegas?
It's a beautiful morning, as you can see, sitting here in my backyard before I head into the office. Thanks for having me on, Joe, especially on a day like today when you have a lineup like the 29 Yankees. It's quite an honor.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you here and an absolute honor to talk with you today. When we get started here, let's talk about how you got into this industry because you're such a figurehead in this industry. How did this come about, Mike?
I was actually at Notre Dame and in the seminary program at Notre Dame, geared towards becoming a priest, and made a decision that I didn't. That wasn't my calling. I wanted to have children and blessed with a son, a stepdaughter, and now a little baby girl.
Oh,
So
congratulations.
so I was teaching school. I graduated from Notre Dame, and I went back to Iowa, where I'm originally from, and I was teaching in a K through 8 Catholic elementary school, and not making too much money. I was coaching 3 sports, teaching, and making $16,800 a year. And so to supplement my income, I took a job in the summer dealing poker on a riverboat here in Iowa, and it just sort of went from there. I went back and taught school one more year, and I made as much in 2.5 months in the summer as I did almost the entire year teaching. So it was, I had student loans, and it just financially from that perspective, it made more sense. And I just followed that path through the casino industry, worked in poker and then table games in Iowa, in Wisconsin, in an Indian casino there, native casino, was in Atlantic City for a year when the Borgata opened, and then eventually came to Vegas in 2005.
Wow, that's a great story, Mike. All starting from being a poker dealer on a riverboat.
Mm, That's
That,
correct.
that's incredible. Did you answer an ad for that? How did you come about getting that job?
And the age to gamble in Iowa at that time was 18. So even in my senior year in high school, I used to go and play poker at the riverboat in Dubuque, where I'm from. And I was very friendly with the dealers. And, I remained friends with them. And then when I came back after college, I told them I was looking for a summer job. Could they give me some pointers? Because I knew the game on how to deal. And a couple of them helped train me. And I went and I did an audition, and I passed it. And it went from there.
Wow, that's awesome. Now you've been in the industry so many years. What do you think is the biggest and best change we've seen in this industry, Mike?
Well, the the repeal of PASPA is definitely, specifically for our business that we have here with Derek Stevens, with Circa the D and Golden Gate, has been so important in the growth of legalized sports betting, right? I mean, it was there, it just wasn't regulated before that, other than in the state of Nevada. So, a lot of people argued, one, when we had regional markets pop up in states in the 80s and 90s, legalized gambling, would it hurt Las Vegas? No, it just creates feeder markets. And the same thing with all these states, and we see how well New York is doing, and Illinois and Pennsylvania. It still doesn't hurt Nevada. It only helps because it's a training ground for people when they can, the majority of Americans live within an hour of a casino now. And even more with the access of mobile wagering, have that at their fingertips to bet on your couch. So it certainly helped the growth of the industry.
Absolutely. Now you have so much going on at Circa. You've got your football contest coming up. You want to tell us a little bit more about what you have coming up at Circa, Mike?
Yeah, we have 2 football contests that we run each year. This is the Circa Millions 4, our fourth year of doing it, and Survivor is in its third year. Two very different contests. Both of them cost $1,000 per entry. Let's start with the Circa Millions 4. That's a traditional NFL handicapping contest where you pick 5 games against this point spread each week. Um, we guarantee a $6 million payout, and we take no rake. So we need to get 6,000 entries to break even here. First place is $1 million. All the way down through 100th place in the contest is worth 2,000. One of the interesting things about Circa Millions is that we pay out quarterly. So, you think about over a long stretch of 18 weeks, it's very difficult to stay hot. We break it down each quarter. The first 4 weeks is a quarter, the second 5 weeks, third 4 weeks, and last 5 weeks. So we dedicate $300,000 to paying out each quarter. So first through fifth in a quarter, with the best score getting 150,000. And then we also have a quarterly booby prize. That's the worst record in the quarter. You win $25,000. And and a yearly booby prize, $100,000 for the worst record overall. And this year we've added half a booby, the second worst record, for 50,000. So it's interesting. If we get more than 6,000 entries, we
Yeah.
don't hold any of that money. We distribute it. And how we do it is we'll take half of the money and add it to each of the top 100 places equally. And the other half we will add to first place in each quarter. So let's just say we got 6,400 entries. That's an extra 400,000. Those quarterly winners would then be worth 200,000 each quarter, and each place gets another 2,000. So the 100th place, instead of being 2,000, would actually be 4,000. So it could impact those bottom spots most significantly. Now,
Oh,
the survivor contest is different. No point spreads involved. You pick a winner each week, but the team must advance. They must win the game. No tie, no postponement, and you can only use a team once. Survivor goes until everybody gets knocked out. The first 2 years, we've had people go through undefeated.
oh, wow.
The first year, and we give $1 million bonus if you go undefeated. The first year, it was simply you go 18-0 because we had the Thanksgiving games as their own week. We had approximately 1,400 entries. 35 people were undefeated. So they split that money,
Wow.
$67,000 each, adding $1 million on top, right? Because of the undefeated bonus.
Yep.
The next year, the NFL added another week, 17 weeks. We had the Thanksgiving week. So now 18 weeks plus you had to use either of the Super Bowl teams the final week. So in that case, Tampa Bay or Kansas City.
Yep.
5 people went undefeated and they split the
Wow.
$6 million guarantee, 1.2 million each. 3 of those 5 were able to use either the Chiefs or the Buccaneers the last week of the year, and they split the $1 million bonus. So 3 of them got another 333,000 on top. This year, we're making it a little more complicated to get the $1 million bonus. We've added Christmas as a week as well because
Okay.
Christmas falls on a Sunday. So the NFL's playing 11 games on Saturday. That's its own week. And then the 3 Christmas Day games and that Monday night game are a separate week of 4. The 3 Thanksgiving games are their own week of 3 as well. Plus, in the last, instead of you have to use a Super Bowl team in the last week, this year to get the $1 million bonus, you cannot use the 2 Super Bowl teams at all. So no Rams, no Bengals if you want to try for that.
Wow.
$1,000 entries in both contests. In the Circa Million 4, you can buy up to 3 entries. And in the Circa Survivor, you can get up to 6 entries.
Wow, that's pretty impressive, Mike. Looking at those survivor contests, definitely hard. So much strategy comes into those. So impressive to hear how well people have done in that contest. When can people start signing up for both of these contests here?
We started taking registrations last week. I think we're around 90 survivors so far and about 30 in the millions. We had an interesting day on Monday. There were 63 signups, 60 of them to the survivor and 3 of them to the millions. Remember, both are a $6 million guarantee no matter what. Now, if people are listening to you in Canada where you are, or they're listening to you in the States, and you say, oh, I can't play because I'm not in Nevada. You must come to Nevada to register, and then you can choose a proxy. There are proxy services. The majority of the contestants are from out of state or out of country, in your case. Now, a proxy, you can search and shop them. They generally will charge $300. And what they do is you come and sign up, you list them as your proxy, and then every week you text them your picks and they put the picks in for you. That's necessary because of the Wire Act, where there can't be any interstate gambling. So, people that live here in Nevada or in Las Vegas, they use a proxy too, because either they're going to be out of town one or more of the weeks, or they just like somebody, reminding them on Saturday morning, hey, you didn't get your picks in yet. What are you taking?
Yeah, absolutely. And a good excuse to get to Vegas for the
Mm-hmm.
weekend. You guys have so much going on there. Definitely a great place to be, especially with that beautiful weather you've got, Mike.
It's not bad. I mean, we were not, into the one teens yet. We've had a handful of days over 100. It's been kind of an unseasonably cool spring. It'll be in the upper 90s today, but no humidity, so you don't have to deal with that. The first summer, if you move here, is tough, but after that, you sort of get used to it.
Well, those pools that you have at Circa wouldn't make
Mm.
it too tough, that's for sure. Absolutely gorgeous place that you have there. I can't believe how beautiful it is.
Thank you. We're very proud of Stadium Swim, and obviously popular now and during the summer, but also in the winter. We're the only pool that stays open 365 days a year because we have the ability to heat all of our pools up to 96 degrees. So even in the winter, you can stay warm by being in the pool. And then, of course, the largest sports book in the world at Circa, 3 stories. you can't really do it justice, even though people post videos and pictures all the time when they come out here. You really have to be here to see it and experience it.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait to get down there, Mike. Now, I know you enjoy hockey, so we saw the Calgary Flames just shoot themselves in the foot, not be able to get past the Edmonton Oilers. What are your thoughts right now in hockey? What are you liking? We see the Colorado Avalanche and the St. Louis Blues playing tonight.
You know, Joe, it's really simplistic, but if you would have started this early, it'd be very profitable. And I don't think you really have to go away from it. But just in the East, you bet unders, and in the West, you bet overs. I mean, it's been so strikingly different the play on in the two different conferences. The most shocking thing to me was Jacob Markstrom, how bad he was in the series against Edmonton after having to be pretty decent against Dallas with the performance Ottinger put on. Uh, I like Colorado to go in and win tonight. Inexplicable they could blow the 3-goal lead. They've had so many frustrations in the second rounds after being up easily 2-0 on the Knights last year and then losing 4 straight. And let's not forget they were a $4 favorite in the bubble in the second round against those same Stars. I'd hate to see Colorado have to come back in a game 7 and have all that pressure on them and the ghost of second rounds passed. I have a future ticket on the Rangers at 26-1. I've hedged off of it with Carolina this series. Look, the Rangers can't score 5-on-5. If Rod Brendamore's guys would stay out of the box, it's very tough for the Rangers to win these games. That being said, right, 7-0 at home and 0-5 on the road so far for the Hurricanes in the playoffs. Maybe tomorrow night the Rangers can force a game 7 in Carolina, and then we'll see what happens. You still have to beat the champs, right? Tampa Bay's still in there. Never underestimate the heart of a champion. And really the last 2 champions, the Blues in 19 and then 2 straight years with the best goaltender in the world in Andre Vasilevsky and the Tampa Bay Lightning. So, it's going to be very interesting. I think a Carolina Tampa Bay Eastern final there'll be nothing between these two teams, low scoring games.
Yeah.
And if we get Colorado and Edmonton, I don't know what we'll do as a book. You almost have to start the game in 7 and see where the public takes the total.
Yeah, exactly. Looking at these games, what Edmonton can do offensively. Scary situation to not take a 7 for you guys there, I think.
Yeah, well, look, you put up 6.5s and 7s, and only one game in the Calgary series even went under, and one game in the Blues series. So these Western games, we know the firepower that Colorado has, and McKinnon's playing great, and then of course McDavid's just the best player in the world, and he showed it last night.
Wow, yeah, he is absolutely matured. I had some not nice words for him last season. I didn't like how he was leading his team. The maturity he's shown this season is absolutely phenomenal. He really has become that leader on that team, and I think bringing Evander Kane in there really did see a shift in him as well, Mike.
It's surprising how well Kane has been, and with all his off the ice problems, whether it's the gambling or the tragedy with the daughter passing away, he has not blown up. I kept wondering if at some point in these playoffs he would blow up and we'd see that sign of Evander. He hasn't. He's been a mature and calming presence for this team, shockingly so, but very valuable, and what a great signing that was for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm impressed with how Mike Smith has played, especially in this past series. So it'll be great to see who they end up playing between the Avs and the Blues. I'm with you. I probably think it's the Avs. I don't know if it finishes tonight, but it's going to be super interesting game. But Mike, I know you also like soccer. We have the championships tomorrow between Liverpool and Real Madrid. Any thoughts on this? Where's the book going with this?
It's amazing here. Liverpool hasn't lost a meaningful match. And I say meaningful because they did lose a second leg to Inter Milan, but they were up 2-0, so won 2-1 on the aggregate, losing 1-0. They haven't lost a meaningful match since November 17th. And they are rightfully favored here. And now, interestingly, this match originally supposed to be played in Wembley. We saw last year because of COVID, it was moved from Istanbul to Porto in Portugal. This year moved not because of COVID, but because of how the English fans behaved during the European Championships. So the Champions League officials moved this game to Paris. We thought it would be the 2 EPL giants, Liverpool and Man City. But this run by Real Madrid, down 2 goals to PSG with 30 minutes to go, they rallied to advance. Down to Chelsea after blowing a 2-0 lead at home in the last 25 minutes, they rallied to advance. down 2-0 on the aggregate to Man City with 6 minutes left. They scored 2 late goals and tie that match, win with a penalty kick in the extra time to find themselves in the final. I'm an under player. The total here is 2.5 juice to the over. Hard for me to play an under. I think both teams score. Here's the advantage that Real Madrid has. And if you like them to win, you can get plus 150 on Real Madrid to take the crown. When they advanced that night at the Bernabeu in Madrid and they beat Man City, they had already won La Liga in Spain. So Carlo Ancelotti has been able to rest all of his players these last 3 weeks, eyeing for this championship match tomorrow. Liverpool, only a point behind Man City, had to keep playing. Jurgen Klopp had no choice. They had a chance to win the EPL. Lastly, they didn't do it, and Man City was triumphant by 1 point over them. But they've looked a little bit leggy these last few matches. They've conceded the first goal in their last 3 matches, unlike them. I think they're a little tired, and you will see Carlo Ancelotti with this aerial attack. He's like Al Davis with the Raiders, with all these deep, long balls to Vinicius Jr. You wear down the opponent chasing that guy down the pitch all night long. We saw Pep Guardiola and Man City have to substitute late in that game in Madrid because they were so tired. That's like a jabber with all the body blows tiring you out here in this spot. It's hard for me to choose a side. There might be value if you live and you can find a market with total bookings, total number of yellow and red cards given. Interesting figure here. The match in Paris, Clement Turpin, a French lawyer, will be the lead official. He averages only 3.6 bookings per match over the last 12 months. But if you look at him in European competition specifically, less than 3 bookings per match. And he also was the head official in that game where Italy lost to North Macedonia and got knocked out of the World Cup. It was a very chippy, nasty match. Only 1 booking there. You can find under 4.5 bookings in this match. Both teams respect each other. They've played each other on the European stage. Ancelotti and Jurgen Klopp, tremendous respect for each other. I can't see there being more than 4.5 bookings here.
Oh, that's an interesting way to go with it, Mike. I definitely like that. I want to thank you for joining me here on the Joe Madden Sports Podcast. I know you've got to get on with your day. Really appreciate your time, Mike.
Joe, thank you, and look forward to seeing you when you're here in Las Vegas.
I can't wait to get down there. Definitely have to get down for a Raiders and Chargers game. That would be absolutely phenomenal in the city of Vegas. Mike, can you tell everyone where to follow you on socials?
Yeah, I'm at Mike Palm Circa on Twitter, at Poker Mike 73 on Instagram, if you want to follow on either.
Thank you, Mike. Have a wonderful day. All the best, and we'll be talking to you soon.
Godspeed, Joe.
Thank you.